Kelowna Falcons baseball.
Yesterday as a matter of fact, I'm looking at the time code on the email as it dropped into my inbox. It was 1:16 precisely yesterday afternoon. And the headline was not one that brought me any kind of joy. Kelowna Falcons canceled 2021 season, and the opening lines were, the Kelowna Falcons regretfully announced the cancellation of the 2021 summer season due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, and the announcement from Dr. Bonnie Henry on Thursday. Despite the promising news on BC's vaccine rollout, restrictions are not going to be lifted in time for the Falcons to plan a successful season. I found that release saddening, troubling, and decided to reach out to Mark Nonis, the general manager of the team. Good morning to you, sir, and truly, I am saddened with that release you put out yesterday.
Well, good morning to you, and saddened I am as well, too, Phil, so it's unfortunate. It was a hard decision. It was one that I had to make, and I feel, around this time for what gave my players a good chance to find another home.
So and I was going to ask you, what is the process of reaching a decision like this? What are the things that you're weighing, evaluating? I know one line in your release said just the process of bringing players up from the United States, which is a challenge in itself. But how do you weigh and assess? What do you do? Sit down at your desk and drink a gallon of coffee and try to? I don't know. I don't even know.
You times that by 100. Because there was 100 days of studying news data, new information, everything on the internet every day to make that decision. So it wasn't one taken lightly, and it wasn't one that wasn't without due diligence. It was one that was done with a plan and with a thought process behind it, Bill. And where I saw we were going to be by June and July, I just didn't see a place in BC where we could have a fireman fundraiser where we can have 2,000 people sitting at the ballpark enjoying a cold beverage and a hot dog.
Yeah,
I felt if we weren't going to have more than a 50-person capacity, and if you take both those teams, that's 50 people right there.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it's like to be you. I've had some conversations with Bruce Hamilton as well. The Rockets return to play tonight. As the WHL here in British Columbia does Kamloops and Kelowna as the two bubble cities, if you want to call them that. But in a conversation, Bruce said, Phil, we need to get in front of our fans again. We cannot afford to have them lose touch with us. We can't afford to have them lose or not have us in their front of mind, top of mind. And so this is what I'm saddened about, because this will be 2 seasons in a row that you have now not been able to play ball. And you were on a roll going into last year. The energy of the team, the energy in the park, people were discovering summer baseball.
I agree with you. I 100%. We had 3 out of 4 seasons where we brought playoffs to Kelowna, and 2 out of those 4 we were in the championship series. We were getting the community support was sensational, and here we are. I'm going to be starting fresh. It's like having a brand new team. These guys don't know who the Kelowna Falcons is anymore because I haven't been in the community and I haven't been advertising for what will be 2 years soon. And
that was and you said it far better than I. And that to me is the saddest part of this story. Is that all that momentum, all of that community connection, all of those corporate sponsors and whatever, next year you're going to be doing this. It's going to be 3 years, and it's going to be a whole new slate of paper, and it's going to be like you've never done it before.
You're right, but I feel that people like yourself reaching out to me and supporting our team and the community has been really good. So I feel that we have a good base here. I feel that our community is strong. I feel that they'll support us again. So I just, I got to hit the road. I got to hit the road when it's time to hit the road again.
And that to me is the door that opens and say, I have the greatest of affection for you, for what it is that you've done over these years. And when you're ready to go, do not hesitate to send a note saying, Johnson, we're ready to go, and I'm going to need you this year, and we're going to be there for you. Let me ask you this, though. What about the players? Because as I look at your notes and your email, and the key line, bringing players in from the United States. Are these players that you've drafted? Are these players that you had signed? These are players who knew that you were going to be their life this summer. Is this enough time for them to rebuild their plans?
Barely.
Okay.
Barely. That's why it was such a hard decision and one that was, almost that I doubted myself that I made too soon. Reflecting back already, I don't think I made it too soon. I think I made it at the right time because I signed my team by September. My coach did a heck of a job this year. He reached out. He got us some really good talent. But our team's done by September.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys have been under contract for X amount of months. And now they're going to reach out and all the other teams, not just Kelowna, all the other teams, all the other leagues, all the other summer collegiate baseball leagues sign their teams by September and October. So these guys now have to reach around and go through all of the different communities to find a different place to play. So that's going to be my job in the next coming weeks is to make sure that all those guys have a place to play because there's a lot of talent on that team and there's a lot of next level talent on that team. So I want to make sure that they stay sharp and obviously go to the professionals ready as they should be instead of having a summer off because I decided to wait too long.
So are these phone calls from you directly to people within your little black book or now your iPhone and you're calling them up and saying, hey, Bobby, I know we talked last fall. Here's what I've had to do, but I'm calling you because I want to talk about Billy Bob. This guy deserves to play this year. If you got any place of working him into the roster, is that the conversation?
Well, I mean, with a little smirk on my face right now, I laugh because as soon as I got off the executive committee meeting and told them that I'm going to withdraw from this 2021 season, I did have a couple owners reach out to me to get some of my talent. So they know that I bring some good players up here. So I don't think that we're going to have too hard of a time finding places for the players that do come up here. So it was pretty funny because the other teams in the league, the American teams, were reaching out to me to get my players on their team for the summer.
That's good news. It hurts a little less, eh?
Yeah, it was just a little smirk. It was a little funny. I was like, oh, they do I'm competitive.
Okay, now the bigger question is then these people that you had sourced that last September you had signed that had you optimistically looking at the coming season that yesterday you said, okay, we can't do this. You don't loan these guys for a year and then get them back, do you? Or do you? Do you have some right of first approach at the end of the season that you can go back to these guys or are effectively they lost to you?
Effectively, they're lost to me.
Oh.
And that's the one thing that's different from the WHL or the West Coast League is we sort of, if we get 7 returners, that's a good start to our squad where, the WHL probably has 70% returning.
Yeah. Mark,
so those players are lost to me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and then this pool, this talent that we put together, we have to, start all over again next September.
I've only shaken your hand a couple of times. Our paths don't cross. Our lives are not parallel in any way, shape, or form. But I say to you truthfully, I like you as a man. I like what you've done in this community, and I'm truly, honestly saddened for you. This
thank you. That means a lot.
This is the pits, man. It sucks. All of those phrases that have been sanitized because this is family radio. But may you have an okay summer. Obviously, it's going to be a different kind of a summer for you. So. What do you do without a baseball summer?
Start recruiting so I can get a playoff team for you next year.
All right. Well done, Mark. Mark, such a pleasure. Mark Nonis, good guy to know. If you ever cross paths with him and had an opportunity to shake hands with him, you get some sense of the admiration that I give voice to here this morning. He's just a straight ahead, honest kind of guy. And I can't imagine what it was like for him over this past week, 10 days, looking at what's going on with COVID. And yes, even with the rollout of the vaccines, knowing full well that none of this was going to be in time for him to build a baseball season. The joys of management and the heartache and the pain that goes with management.
Baseball lives here.